justice and peace and equality.
Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, and we are here with Miss Chantel E. Curry. How you doing today, Miss Curry?
I'm great. How you doing?
Man, awesome. It's great to have you on the show. Heard a lot about you. Following you online. Tell us who is Chantel E. Curry and tell us what's going on in your world.
Chantel is a very interesting person. I would say I'm gonna say here's something where I'm used to saying that. Okay, I am an artist.
Okay.
I'm a visual painter.
Okay.
As well as a bartender on the side.
All right.
I'm a mom of 2 dope boys. Okay. Shout out to my kids. I'm just a creator.
Right.
Like, that's what I'm all about.
Okay. So following you online, we know you do a lot of artistry. You do some detailed, fine work. I mean, you're very crafty with connecting the mind and the hands and the eye. Right? Those sensory glands that we learn about in school, you maximize those to the max. Tell us how you got started in just, the artistry.
So my journey is interesting because I never, ever thought I would be a painter.
Okay.
Never did I ever think. So if you asked me 3 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to tell you that. But one day I just woke up. Well, prior to that, I was a hairstylist and a makeup artist. I had 2 salons and all that stuff like that. And I just woke up and just like, I don't want to do this no more. And I just stopped. Okay. And then I moved to Atlanta. And then all of a sudden, like, I started losing things, like just including my mind, like home, cars, my mind, everything was like, what's happening? So my sister and my mom like, I don't know what's going on. I think something special is happening. Because it was like nonstop, like, what is this? And then even when I bartend, I always get high right on the spot. So I would go to an interview and nothing. Okay. So I'm like, what is happening? So in the midst of that, I woke up and something told me, paint the wall. Okay. I was like, all right, I'm paint the wall. So I did, and I was like, oh, I did that. Like that. So then I was like, I wonder if I could do a canvas. Okay. And I just painted this lady. And she was gold and black, which is my favorite color. Okay. And I posted that and I got like great feedback. And then I was like, I'm about to sell this.
You about to sell?
Not that, but sell art.
Okay.
So I made 5 paintings.
Wow.
Sold all of them.
No.
All of them.
All of them.
Between like $100 and $200, literally.
So you didn't actually, go to school for painting?
I'm telling you, I just woke up. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. If you asked me 3 years ago, would I be a painter and had interest in it? None whatsoever. Like, nothing. I didn't know I could paint, draw the way I do. Like I said, I am a creative. It is in my family, in my blood. Okay. But this specific type of artistry, I did not know I could do.
And you just woke up. I mean, so life in Atlanta is different now. Like we were talking during the break-in. We talk about, coming up in Atlanta, trying to find your way. Most people move to Atlanta because we're sold that this is the Mecca of the South. Atlanta has so much opportunity for African-American people. People moving from New York, California, Chicago, Louisiana, all over the place, Texas. And you find yourself in Atlanta. Trying to find your way. What were you going through during the time?
So this whole process of being here is just all random. Okay. It was, I believe, the divine plan.
Right.
Okay, because after my divorce, my sister came and visited me in New York, where I'm from, and she was like, "Oh, let's co-parent." And I'm like, "You want me to leave all my stuff?" Like everything. She was like, "Yeah, you need help with the boys." So my sister, she has 2 boys. I have 2 boys. One of our boys are the same age. They're just days apart. Okay. So she's like, "Come get them. I mean, let's co-parent. Come to Florida." Okay. So I went to Florida. I absolutely did not like it.
Oh man.
At all. Like I did not like it. And I was like, okay, so we're very spontaneous. So she was like, let's go to Atlanta for a day.
Okay.
I was like, all right, let's go.
Okay.
Man, we driving through. I said, I'm leaving you. I'm not going back. And when we went back home,
right.
I started doing my due diligence and I moved literally within a month and a half.
From Florida to Atlanta. I mean,
I just left. I didn't know nothing about Atlanta. I didn't act nothing.
Right.
Absolutely nothing.
Florida is an interesting place too. I mean, it's some stuff that happened in Florida.
That is for vacation and retirement to me.
Only. So you're in Florida. You come take a trip to Atlanta, and you say, "Hey, I want to move to Atlanta." What made you want to move to Atlanta that was different from where you were?
We was literally driving into Atlanta. I seen cars going fast, and I seen little city. I was like, "Oh, this reminds me of little New York." That's what I thought, and I left, and that's what made me want to move here. Nothing else. Nothing,
okay.
Absolutely nothing. I didn't even go to a store yet.
Wow. So you move to Atlanta, you get involved in the bartending life, and how do you? Because that's the hot scene, the clubs, the restaurants. We know that clubs and restaurants pop in Atlanta. One of the hottest markets, one of the hottest features of Atlanta, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you get into bartending business? And
I've always been a bartender.
Okay.
For a very long time.
Okay.
That's one of my hustles.
One of your hustles.
Yeah. So I think the first place I worked at here was at a sushi restaurant.
Okay.
And then what else? I think it was Sweet Lounge.
Sweet Lounge.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Make money in there.
It be popping in the Sweet Lounge. Hey.
Well, it was better, I guess, back when I first moved here.
Okay.
I think it would be like 5 years that I've been here now.
Right.
But yeah, that was like one of my favorite places to work here.
Okay, so basically you don't have a career. You didn't have a career. You were a bartender. You were just hustling.
I had saved up a lot of money before I moved.
Okay, you saved up a lot. And you were recently divorced, so you had that trauma and that trial going through. Now you're raising 2 boys, as a single mother, and you're trying to find your way, your path to your destiny, to your divine being, which is now artistry. What are some of the obstacles that you had to face?
Being a single mother?
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, you know how you could say you have a person that's the father and the mom, but I did everything outside of paying the bills.
Okay.
Everything was on me.
Okay.
Literally.
Oh, wow.
So it felt like I was a single parent.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Right.
And so it really, honestly, wasn't any different for me outside of me having to pay the bills.
Pay the bills.
That's the only difference between then and now.
Okay.
Of me being a single mother or with not a single parent household.
Now, women have a tendency to thrive in Atlanta. I mean, the women empowerment movement in Atlanta is like no other place. So you're finding your destiny from the bartending to what you said. You had another hustle. It was another hustle. You said, and doing hair. Was it doing hair?
Oh yeah, I was a hairstylist and makeup artist and bartender. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, that's equivalent to a career life because it's a lot of money. Because being at Atlanta is a entertainment hub, is a festive place. I'm pretty sure you were networking. How were you networking in Atlanta?
How do I network?
How were you networking in Atlanta when you first got here to build your brand?
Doing what I do still. Go out to places, the type of clientele I would want to have.
Okay.
Communicate with people, talk.
Okay.
Be friendly, open-minded.
Okay.
And that's it.
Hey.
People say, what you do? I do this. Oh, for real? Yeah. Let me see. Here you go.
All right. Now tell us about, so you have your own business now. ED Design Studio.
ED Design Studio. ED, you got me messing up.
It's almost like I got ADD. We are not selling the ED commercial. We mean ED Studio. Yeah. Go ahead.
Design Studio.
Right.
Correct.
All right, tell us about Design Studio.
So, E-Design Studio is not only my art,
Okay.
it's also interior decorating and 3D rendering.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I create in all ways. I could do your business, your home. I could paint outside. I could paint your furniture. I could
Okay.
put your stuff together, get you, make your home look different, new, add a little Chantel spice to it.
Man, if you see some of the art online, as I followed you, following the art, I'm like, man, this is some high detail art. Now, with the interior design and the artistry, you talked about that home decor. How did you, what made you say, okay, I'm going to take this to another level. I have a way to, make the room appeal, because there's a lot of people looking for that.
Well, I can say interior decorating is something that I've always wanted to do.
Okay.
Okay. But being a mother, like I told you, and always had to stop. I went to interior decorating school in New York, but I couldn't finish or complete it because I was living with somebody who barely helped it,
Right.
So I didn't get to move forward with that. But when I came here, and I started getting into art more, I was like, this is when I could do it.
Okay.
The studio is about to be a full service, creative situation going on.
You got a whole creative situation going on.
Right. So not only can I make your art piece, but I also can make your home or your business go with the art piece.
Okay.
And also show it to you in 3D form before it even gets into your actual place.
Oh man. So you got like the Home Depot app built in. I call it the Home Depot app because, as a homeowner here in Atlanta, right? A lot of people, I stay in Home Depot and Lowe's, and one of the fun things about it is like, how can I put this design together to build a deck or a patio or something like that. So you're telling me through your business, you offer a 3D visual of what that home or what that interior is going to look like?
Mm-hmm. Like my client last night, I'll be complete tomorrow.
Okay.
But I started with just supposed to create a painting for him.
Okay.
And it was a bull and a bear, so I guess that represents like the trade stocks and stuff.
Yes.
So I was like, and he was like, yeah, and my place is kind of. I was like, oh, I can help you with that. He was like, what? I was like, yeah, let me help you out. So I said, this is what I'll do. You send me an idea of what you want as a painting. And then I'll come to your house and take a few pictures and videos to see what your place looks like.
Okay.
And then I'll get back to you.
Oh, hey.
So then I created the place, what I saw.
Okay.
And he was like, let's do it. And that was it.
I mean, how much does something like I know this ain't no, cookie cutter type stuff, so I know this has a pretty penny to it because, I mean, you're actually uniquely designing your designs custom fit, right? Mm-hmm. So in ballpark, what would a person need to start with even to come up with the idea? What type of budget would they need to have just to come up with a idea that fits a custom brand?
Okay, so my art, let's start with that. It depends on the size. Okay. But it starts from like 400, which is probably small painting, all the way to like 8,000, 10,000. Okay. Depending on the size and what you're getting on the art piece.
Awesome. Okay.
Like how much work am I putting? How much effort?
Okay.
Then with 3D rendering, it could be like $200 to $300.
Okay.
And my service for the interior decorating is like $75 an hour.
Gotcha. I mean, hey, that's reasonable, man. I think in modern era, we're more into custom design in our homes. More so, much less than our parents and our grandparents used to do. Not to say their homes weren't that, but I think we, as the modern era, we're looking for that new look, that new wave. You guys, we're gonna have to go to a commercial break. We got Chantel E. Curry of E-Design Studios. You guys, stay tuned. Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, where change starts the conversation.
Justice and peace and equality. Now the world they will see.